Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask the Premier about housing, not abstract housing policy, but people's concrete situations. A woman named Christina Border has given me permission to speak of her situation. Christina had a two-bedroom unit in a triplex in Armdale. She was paying $12.95, and she was informed by the landlord that he's going to turn the unit into an Airbnb and that she would have to move out. However, she would be able to stay if she would pay $2,000. So, Mr. Speaker, that's $705, over a 50% increase. Now, people say very commonly when they're dealing with these kind of situations, they'll say, what am I supposed to do? So I want to ask the Premier, what is somebody in Christina's situation actually supposed to do?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the Honourable Member for raising what is an important issue not only facing Christina but many members, Mr. Speaker, as we continue to see the growth in the economy, in particular certain parts of our province, particularly in Metro, Mr. Speaker, putting pressure on affordable housing and units. We continue to work with landlords, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we have the affordability in all parts of our city. We know there's more work to do. We look forward to working with the national government and the $400 million that have been set aside to ensure that we have affordable housing, continue to make sure that we have rent subs that are available to support those in communities, and we'll continue, Mr. Speaker, to make those investments and work to try to work with, as we see this growth, to make sure that people aren't being left behind, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, I'll provide the details of the housing, but not the identity of a second person who has also given me permission to speak of his situation. He lives in a low-rise rental building in the south end of the city, where he just lately got a notice from the landlord that the rent for his one bedroom will be going up $275 a month on December 1st. That's about a 30% increase. And tenants in this and several other buildings owned by the same landlord have received similar letters, and they are no more than he is in a position to pay this kind of increase. So I want to ask the Premier, where are these people supposed to go?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, again, I thank the Honourable for the question. He would know part of the pressures that is happening, Mr. Speaker, is the short-term rentals is happening not only in this province, but is happening, Mr. Speaker, globally. We're seeing pressures on the housing market. We continue, Mr. Speaker, to work with ensuring that we're providing housing options in communities across this province. He raises a very important point. It's why we've continued to make the investments we are. The most recent investment is improving our own housing stock, Mr. Speaker, across the province, to bringing it up to where people want to live in those facilities, working with developers to ensure that we have affordability in housing stock across the province. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, again, providing rent subs that will allow families with affordability. And as I said to the Honourable Member, and I committed to the Honourable Member, we'll look to find out whether or not that needs to be adjusted in the coming months.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, look, Sobaz Benjamin spoke here downstairs this morning about his family's situation. Their apartment in the North End had been damaged in the hurricane, and they have to vacate that building. He spoke about how anywhere comparable in his community in the North End of the city is hundreds and hundreds of dollars more expensive, and that how his family is not sure where they're going to go. Mr. Speaker, what is the Premier going to do about all these people in Nova Scotia who are being squeezed so harshly by exploding rents?
The Honourable Premier.
Again, Mr. Speaker, there's a number of factors at work here, Mr. Speaker. As he would know, as I said, the short-term rental issue has been growing not only in this province, in this city, but quite frankly across the country and globally. We continue to work with landlords around affordability, make sure we have affordable accommodations in parts of the city. He would also know HRM is actually working towards an affordability model in the city here. We've seen other municipalities working with the province to provide that same option. We're looking at our own housing stock. The most recent budget that we introduced had another 1,500 rent subs that were in it. Those are trying to deal with the issue to support, Mr. Speaker, those families who require our support.